check. Could you hear yourself?
I can hear me and I can hear you.
All right, let's do this.
Okay. This is fun.
So have you ever recorded a podcast like this, like with cameras and stuff? Or?
No, not in person. I've done like Zoom interviews and stuff, or StreamYard, whatever it's called, but I have not done like an in studio type.
Got it.
Yeah.
So how are the podcasts when you do a Zoom podcast? How does that work? Like,
so I'm normally the one interviewing people, and when I interview them, I have it where it's like if the person is talking, then it'll just be on them. So that way you're not just looking at me awkwardly looking at them.
Got it.
So,
yeah.
But in general, I'm just like, asking questions, very basic questions like their background and things about them. And then, depending on how much they want to elaborate, then they will give me something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we met back in high school.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really talk.
Yeah.
But you're like my sister's friend. So
me and my girl, we go way back.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm basically best friends with your sister. So we're in-laws, not really, but we're by association, obviously.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So you and then Noelle and my sister.
Yep.
Do you guys have like other people that you like keep in touch with really closely or not really?
From high school, not as much. I am still friends with George. I don't know if you remember him.
Yes, I remember him.
So George and I think that's it from high school. It's just like the four of us.
Okay.
That I'm in touch with. Everyone else I kind of don't really talk to. Some people I forgot their names. If I see them, I'll be like, I remember you.
Hey, you.
Yeah. Like,
what's your name?
But
that's funny. Yeah. So George and I first met George in, I think, Davidson.
In middle school, huh?
Yeah, because we were like in the same ELD class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I met George. The first time I met him was at Camp Chance before middle school had started, and all of us had gone to this camp, and that was an experience because Camp Chance was like you were supposed to learn how to be like out in the wilderness, but it was like a fun camp. And I remember he had said a quote. No, I said the quote, but then the newspaper had quoted him as saying it, and I was like, what the hell? I was like, that's my quote. And they're like, oh no, George repeats. Like, if you look it up, you will find it to this day. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I was like, okay. Giving credit to somebody else, but I was,
This rings a bell. I think I do remember that.
You remember?
Because it was about him. Like, he said the quote.
Yeah.
I had no clue it was you.
That was me.
But I do kind of remember that, yeah.
So I was like, okay. I was just, whatever. We're 11 years old, so I'm not really thinking too deeply into it, but I'm just like, why would they quote him when maybe they didn't know how to spell my name and they're like, look, I don't have time.
That's funny. That's so funny. So what was this camp called?
It was called Camp Chance. So
never heard of it.
I think from what I'm getting, it was supposed to be for, I don't want to say low income, but that's how, now that I'm thinking back on it, it might have been like for kids who are low income or kids who were like fresh to America, like either first generation or immigrants, and then you would go out to explore like a certain, I don't remember where it was, but it was like somewhere up in the woods, right? And I do remember there was like our camp counselors, and they had told this very, very scary story where they're like the headless bear beast. It was a made up thing, but then the way they made it seem like they're like, that beast is gonna come for you, because we're actually sleeping out in tents. Like, it's not like we're in a cabin or anything. So I'm like, what are you talking about? There's a bear beast coming. I was so scared because I was like, are you guys sure that this is not real? They're like, no, because like nothing can operate without a head. And I was like, no, because that seems a little sus. Something's not right. Something here, no. And me and one other kid were like bawling, crying.
Really?
Because we were like, no, I don't want to get eaten tonight. I'm trying
That's
to live.
so funny. So were you guys in groups or was this like the whole classroom? How was this?
We were in like one big group, but then we would sometimes break off into like smaller groups. So, and I think this was just to get us comfortable with like being, because it ended up being everybody who went to Davidson. So all of us ended up going there, but we didn't know that. It was like right before school had started, like maybe 2 weeks before school officially started. And we went to this camp Because I remember like I met like Maritza and some other people from school
Mm-hmm.
at that camp, and I was like, oh, okay, so we're all like this was, I guess, to like get us to bond with each other and
Okay.
everything, which was cool. Like it was a cool experience. But again, that story with the headless babies, that got me shook.
It still haunts you to this
Till
day.
this day.
That's so
Man,
funny.
I will never forget, but it's okay.
But this is different than what was that thing in fifth grade?
Oh, Walker Creek.
Yeah, that's different, right?
It was different.
Okay, okay.
I loved that place too. I loved it. Walker Creek, especially when you did the night hike.
Yeah,
That was so
I was so
fun.
scared when I
I
did
know.
that.
I was scared too because I was like, what if a cougar comes out?
Yeah,
What if a mountain lion or something comes out? Because we're in California, so anything.
yeah, true.
I was like, how do they know? Because we're going by ourselves and we're like 10 in the woods, just
Mhm.
out here. But it ended up being fine. But I was like, oh wow, look at the moon, look at the stars.
Well, that's what I would say to distract myself from not thinking, of a lion or
Yeah,
whatever,
like anything could come out.
Yeah,
A
well, not a
bear.
lion, but
Hopefully not. But there is, we're still out in the woods.
Exactly,
Like, so
yeah.
I was like, I hope this is safe. But I mean, they've been doing it for years, so I'm sure they know what they're doing.
Yeah. So, Brandon, my oldest son, he went to Walker Creek.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he went to Davidson. But
Okay.
I mean, I'm San Pedro, right? Yeah. But Jacob, I don't think that they do that here in Nevada. Oh, they do?
Oh, they do.
Oh, that's dope.
So is it all the schools
Nice.
in Marin that
I
go to
guess,
Walker
yeah,
Creek?
yeah.
It's like a right of way passage.
Yep, exactly.
That's cool. That's actually pretty cool because I thought that they might have ended it because you know how like they started slowly getting away with doing away with a lot of the programs like when we were growing up, like
Mhm.
wood shop and all that stuff. So I thought they might have stopped, but that's good that they continue to do that because that's important.
True. Yeah, that's something that we were talking about with my previous guest, Greg. He went to SR, and we were talking about wood shop and metal shop and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and how like those programs,
Are gone
are
now.
gone. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and they were very fundamental, because you get
Yeah.
to like you're hands on and you're learning and stuff.
It's a real trade that
Exactly.
you
You're right.
really
Yeah.
can use.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know what's going on these days because
Yeah.
they're getting rid of a lot of stuff where I'm like, why would you get rid of that?
Yeah, and I think they're just very fundamental, for you to learn. Like you said, they're
Yeah.
potential traits that you could like use when you grow up and stuff.
Yeah. Like if you didn't want to go to college, you could still make good money, do this thing, use your hands. You don't have to really stress out too much. You always have a job because you have a skill, as opposed to now where it's like, oh, you could get laid off at any moment because you're just a number. That to me
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
freaky.
Yeah. Yeah. Now all you have is like music classes, and I guess that's about it.
Only music? They don't
Yeah,
even
I'm
do
sure
art
they
no
have
more?
other like probably art, but
Okay.
they don't have all those like
The
what was the
extracurriculars?
yeah, exactly.
Y'all, we gotta do better. We gotta do better because some has to give.
Yeah, true. So I remember you used to travel to Ghana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are your parents from out there? Were you born over there,
Yeah.
or?
So actually, my entire family is from Ghana.
Mhm.
To be honest, I'm the only person in my family besides my daughter who was born here. Everybody else is from out there.
Okay.
And then they came here like in the late 80s. My mom came here in the late 80s. I don't know when my dad got here, but he got here like years prior. And, we've been here ever since. It's been interesting being, by not by coastal, but being from like two different
Mm-hmm.
regions and
Mhm.
two different cultures and stuff.
Yeah.
That has been an adjustment because for a long time I never interacted with like other Ghanaians because there's not that many that live out here. So
Mm.
I just felt like the little solo dolo, like that one off, like you're just out somewhere.
Mhm.
And it was hard to adjust to certain things because in the house you're one way and then like in school or at work you're another way. So it was interesting trying to like mesh those two. But I got the hang of it by high school.
Okay.
It took a while, but I got it.
Yeah. So you've been out there, right?
Mhm.
Many times.
Yeah.
Do you go over there just to travel and visit family members, or do you like occasionally, just go over there and live there for a long period of time and then come back?
So I recently went there in August. I normally go there to visit family.
Mm.
And then when I was in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, I actually lived out there because I was going to university over there. So I went to school for like 3 years. I was trying to become a doctor. So I was like, let me go to the school over there.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was the way that the education is over there is like 10 times more difficult than here. So I was not able to keep up. But I basically stayed out there for a little bit, and then now I just go back every few years just to go visit.
Mm.
So the last time I was there was literally just this past August, and then the time before that was before the pandemic hit, like maybe a couple months before the world shut
Oh, okay.
down. So that was lucky because had I postponed it for another year, then I wouldn't have been able to go. So it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now I see that there's a lot of people like on social media who all want to go there now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely an adjustment because when I was growing up, nobody even knew where Ghana was.
Mm.
They're like, "Where's that?" Or like even when Ghana was playing in the World Cup against the U.S. back in like '06 for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
people were like, "I can't even find Ghana on the map." I was like, there's a map of Africa. You can
Yeah.
just right there.
Yeah.
But it's now that there's more like eyes on it. I'm like, oh, okay, okay, cool. That's pretty interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's cool.
So when you were out there, you said you went to school out there. How do credits work? Could you transfer those to the U.S. or you have to like start all over again? How does that work?
So you can, but the way that it works is they have their grading system has an extra letter in it. So instead of it being like A, B, C, D, F, they have A, B, C, D, E, F.
Mm-hmm.
So the E is like you failed, but you didn't fail, but
Mm.
you still failed. And then D is like you're about to fail, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's like a weird the way that they transfer the credits over. They do have to translate it, and it does translate not seamlessly, but it does translate. But it's a task to do because when I came back and I had to do school again, I basically had to start over while they were trying to figure out how to transfer my credits. So it didn't apply until I was like maybe in my, I'll say like halfway through my second year back here. Then they were able to like transfer the credits.
That's how
So
long it took for them to figure it out.
yeah.
Whoa.
So it was. I don't know why though, but I guess because of the grading system, like that
Mm.
extra letter is throwing them off, and they don't know what to do with that. So
Got it.
they're
Got it.
just like, we can't say that you failed, or we can't say that you passed. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it puts you in limbo. So basically, don't get an E.
I know, right?
Right? Like if you're gonna fail, just go all the way. Just don't even show up, or
Got
like
it.
if
Got
you
it.
know you're failing, just drop out and take the class again.
Okay.
Because that little credit right there, it's rough. Especially when I was going to Dominican over here, they were they didn't know how to read my transcript, and it did take them a while, and they even wanted me to go get another one, and I was like, there is no way that I'm going to go all the way back there just to go get a transcript and come back.
Could you imagine like all that hassle to get a transcript?
Yeah, because they actually were trying to make me do it. I gave them one, and they're like, oh well, because I opened it, and apparently you're not supposed to open it, but I opened it just to make sure that that was it because my auntie had gone to go get it. And I was
Mm.
like, okay, this is cool. And I gave it to them. They're like, oh, since it's open, we can't accept it. And
No way.
I was like, damn. Okay. So I told my auntie, I was like, they're not going to accept it. Can you go and get another one? She's like, what? And then I was like, yeah, I'm
Oh my
sorry.
god.
So she went to get another one. And then they got that one. And they're like, oh, well, we can't really read it. We don't know what's going on. And I was like, I can't go over there to go and have them translate it. So can
Mm-hmm.
you guys figure it out? And they're like, no. I was like, excuse me? Like,
Wow.
no, figure it out. And then thankfully I had help from one of the professors over there, and he was like, you guys should need to figure this out like
Mm-hmm.
immediately. And then as soon as he stepped in, everything was quick. And I was like,
Really?
oh, interesting. Isn't that
That's crazy.
so I was
If
like,
you would have known sooner,
mm-hmm.
you would have got it done
Oh yeah.
sooner. Yeah.
Because it took me about I basically had to start over again. So
Wow.
from getting my starting over to getting my master's, it took 5 years. So I basically had to do the 4 years again of undergrad, and then I did 1 year for my master's, and so 5 years in total. So all the time that I did over there, it barely counted to anything. So it took me almost twice as long to finish my education as if I had just like paused it or whatever.
Wow, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
So, because I was gonna ask you, once they figured it out, like, did they bump you up or like did they add or how did that work?
They
They
barely
barely.
added the credits. Like it was there on my transcript, but they didn't add it to like the actual credit. So it was basically like I did everything over again.
Wow.
So I was like, then why did you guys make me pay all that money to do that? But
Yeah, that sucks. It's just like they tell you to do all this stuff. You know, they
Mhm.
don't. put into account that you got to spend all this money to try
Yeah.
to figure all this out, and
It's
time, effort.
international.
Yeah.
It's like it's a whole thing. It's like how like just shipping the transcript is expensive.
Really.
Getting the transcript from the office is expensive. Giving it to them to translate is expensive. So I'm like, every step of the way, there's money being exchanged. And then at the end, they're like, well, we can't really count that towards your overall GPA. So, I mean, we'll add it to your transcript, but it doesn't count. So I was like, okay, well, all right.
Wow, that's a bummer. That sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's
So it took a
a
lot of
lesson learned.
determination.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. So if
Yeah.
you guys are ever doing international stuff, make sure wherever you're going to check with them if they can help you. Because if they are trying to be a little bit of a hard ass, they will be. They kind of don't care like that. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Just do your due diligence before you take that step
Yeah,
to do international schooling and stuff.
100%. Because even though they feel like this education over there is not as up to par, but I'm like, they're based off the British system. So if you're going off the British system, the education is actually harder than it is out here in America. So I'm like, the education that I had over there, like before I left, I could not understand statistics or physics or geometry or any of that. By the time I left and I came back, I was like, oh, this is easy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, it's just the perception of how they view things. Because again, you're coming from Africa, so they're like, how's the education really? But I'm like, all the people that you guys have over here doing like all these big jobs, they're coming from Africa. So what's up?
Yeah.
But I'll just let them be.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask you. You said school's harder out there, but does that translate to being like like the technology being better out there, having more resources, or how does that
So the
translate?
thing that I've noticed is that as soon as they get education out there, they end up leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll either go to Europe or they'll come here to America. They'll just, they end up leaving because that's where the jobs are. So the country itself is not able to reap the innovation that would come from the schools. So even though they have like some of the most brilliant people, like my roommate in Ghana, she says she wants to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. She's here in America right now as a cardiothoracic surgeon. She's
But
not in
she did
Ghana.
all her studying
Education,
out there,
yeah,
education out there.
yeah.
Okay.
So she went through undergrad, she went through med school, and then she came here, and then she's in like more med school. Like I think she's at John Hopkins. So she's like, she's up there with like some of the best doctors in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But again, she lives here. So even though she's able to get all that knowledge and everything, she's here now.
Mm-hmm.
So the country itself is not able to actually gain the benefits of having all of these brilliant people here. So that's where the issue lies. So
Got it.
it's just providing the infrastructure and the jobs for them because there's no work for them, to be honest. You kind of just like if you have a business or somebody who has a business, they maybe can hire you, but if there's no revenue enough for them to support you, then they're not going to be able to do that for you. So you kind of got to be like, you either have to be very entrepreneurial, have connections, or you leave. Those are the main three things that people are dealing with right now. But hopefully in the future that will change and then there'll be more jobs for people because there's a lot of people who can work, but there's just nothing for them to do. So, kind of sucks, but I'm hoping that things will change soon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, hopefully things do change. Yeah, I mean, it's like, for example, I was just kind of different topic, but the El Salvador president, like it was like the highest criminal country in the world, I think.
Oh, really?
And I was like one of the safest countries in the world.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just such a small, country.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to say here, is, things could, change
It could change.
for Ghana as well,
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really hope so. And one day I'm gonna go to El Salvador with y'all. I'm gonna go there with y'all one
We're
day.
not Salvadorian, but
Oh,
we could
Guatemalan.
go.
Yes. No, I remember you guys are Guatemalan. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another friend. I remember.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to,
it
say that
changes.
things could change. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool because I'm hoping. I'm
Yeah.
hoping the way things go. I mean, we've seen a lot in the past, 20, 30 years. Granted, we're not that old, but we're also not that young either. So
True, yeah.
we've seen enough of the world to be like, okay, things are changing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that things will continue to change for the better because I'm seeing America change not for the better. So I'm a little worried.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is our
True.
second recession that we've seen since we've been adults, and I'm like, come on, can we catch a
Exactly.
break?
Yep. Yeah, and then the pandemic was kind of crazy too. Like it was, well, 2 years, 3 years, yeah, about 2 years.
Yeah.
Just gone. Like you didn't do anything,
Yeah.
like
Just
nothing. 2 years gone.
you're just
You
gone
can't take those 2 years back.
at all.
Yeah,
And everybody is like 2015 to no, what was it? 2014 to 2019 feels like 5 years, but 2019 to 2024 that does not feel like 5 years.
yeah,
That feels like it was a year and a half, maybe
yeah,
2 years. You're like, oh, it's already 5 years. Yeah, because we definitely lost a couple years off of
yeah.
our
It
lives.
flew by super fast.
Just sitting at home. Well, I wasn't sitting at home, unfortunately, but sitting at home, just out.
What were you doing during the pandemic?
I was actually working
Really?
at a medical facility.
No, because you're an essential worker.
Right.
I wasn't
Didn't get
doing
essential worker pay
anything.
though.
Oh, really?
No,
Oh, wow.
we didn't get any of that. But I was just there, just trying to help.
I'm sorry. So I cut you off. Where were you?
I was okay. So I worked for a medical group.
Mhm.
So we were obviously one of the essential businesses because obviously if people are sick, they would have to come to the clinic to be
Yeah.
able to see if they have see if they had COVID and then get treatment if possible. We're not a hospital though, so if it got really bad, then people would go to the hospitals and stuff. But I was one of the people that was behind the scenes, and I remember the roads being so empty. I was like, wow, there is nobody here. Like you could be speeding like 100 miles an hour. There's no police.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there'd be maybe like one off, but like you could just be like the way that the roads were open. I was like, it's a ghost town.
Yeah.
Like even animals were getting on the freeways and stuff, and you would kind of sometimes like if you're not paying attention, you might hit a deer, and it's the middle of the day where normally they would be out in the woods.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. Like there is nobody here. It's like 3 other cars on the freeway, and I'm talking about like you can see like a good 20-mile stretch, 3 cars. Like nobody's here.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I was like, okay. And so I got used to driving like with no people on the
Mhm.
road. But then as soon as like things started opening up, I was like, damn, there's traffic again. So I was like, okay, well, tis life. We're
Yeah.
obviously getting back to normal. But I was like,
Yeah.
dang it. That's how I knew that things were slowly coming back because then there would be more and more cars on the road. And now
Mhm.
we're back to normal. Like
Yeah.
nothing ever happened.
True.
So
Yeah.
wearing the mask all the time. You don't even see a mask.
Oh yeah, the masks. Those were so annoying, dude. Yeah.
The way that you had to have them, like, because again, since I worked at a clinic, I had to have it on 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I was like, this is like a lot of just like hot air coming back into my face.
Yeah.
So, and I wear glasses, so my glasses would be fogging up all the time, and I'm like,
Yeah.
gosh, this is like, I would sometimes just put it like right here. Not that I'm trying to like, expose other people, but I was just having like right under my nose because again, the fog would be getting in my face, and I'm like, I don't have time for this. And people are like, oh, can you put your mask back up? And I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, I'll do that, but like, I don't want to.
Yeah, and then you work there, so you kind of had to follow rules because you were
Mhm.
like the example or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, why is she not wearing it? Why
Yeah.
do I have to wear it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when it first started, like, oh, you don't have a mask? You can go. I was like, no, I have one. I have one. Just want to breathe some fresh air. That's all.
That's funny. Yeah, people were really like hard ass about the masks or
Mhm.
like following the rules and stuff.
They're like,
And then
"Wash your
Fauci came
hands."
out and said that they weren't really necessary, that they didn't really
Yeah.
help, But they were like
Especially
pushing it really hard.
the cloth ones. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
you just need a cloth. So I was like, so do we need one or we don't?
Yeah.
So if the cloth is not doing anything, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, I'm not gonna question too much. But I was just like, the math ain't mathing over here. But
Yeah.
whatever.
True, yeah. Yeah, I remember when they first announced it, we went to I think Smart and Final,
Mhm.
to try to like stock up or whatever on
Uh-huh.
food. Shelves were like empty the day of. I'm like, oh my god, dude! Like, and then
Really?
people were like, remember when people were buying like hella toilet paper,
Yeah, they were fighting.
like
I
rolls
was
and
like-
rolls and rolls of toilet paper? I'm like, dude, relax.
I was like, why is that the priority? You guys not worried about water,
Exactly, yeah.
food? No, but toilet paper. Okay, that's where you draw the line. I was like, you guys are kind of wild.
Yeah, and people were just trying to take advantage, trying to resell it or whatever, and it's just, dude, come on.
That was a time in history, man. That was a time.
Yeah.
Man, we lived through a lot already. I can't believe it. I literally can't believe it because I feel like from the time that we were kids till now, just think of all the different events that has happened.
Yeah, true.
Like 9/11 happened. Freaking anthrax came. Do you remember anthrax back in the day?
Yeah.
And then what else has happened? The housing crisis. So the recession happened.
Yeah.
Then a pandemic. another recession. I'm like, what is going on? It's like back to back to back to back,
Yeah.
like no breaks, just
True. Yeah.
everything at once.
Yeah. Like the first recession, we were still in high school and stuff. So
Mhm.
like, me personally, I didn't really like. It wasn't a priority, or I really didn't think about it because I'm like,
Yeah, like we're
I don't
kids,
own a
whatever.
house or whatever. I don't, have a job yet. But now, that we're adults and stuff, I'm like, oh shit.
It's the
Let,
second one.
let, let me save some money, or like, let me be
Right.
more smart with my finances or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Which they should have taught us that in high school, to be honest.
True.
Instead of learning geometry.
Yeah, exactly.
Why did I
Yep.
not learn how to do my taxes?
Yeah, that's very true. That would been a very good thing to learn.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's a skill that they still need to, implement. Wink, wink.
I know, right?
Like, help, help the youth out a little bit. Help us, because I don't
Exactly. Yeah.
understand why we are learning how to. What's a skill that I was stressing over in high school that we don't even touch today, like geometry, algebra. I'm like, I don't do anything with any of those subjects,
Yeah.
but you needed that in order to graduate.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm like, why didn't we learn taxes, financial planning, homemaking, any of the like tangible skills that we need? Nothing.
Yeah. True.
That's not even in the curriculum. And I'm like, you guys could have added, as an elective or something.
Yeah. True. You're right.
So,
Yeah. It's very fundamental, I think, and like you said, you come from immigrant parents.
mhm,
I do as well, and my mom, she raised us, right,
mhm,
and she was busy working and stuff. She didn't really have the knowledge or the time to teach us how to be more responsible with money and things like that.
right,
If school didn't help us, my mom wasn't there. It wasn't her fault or whatever.
mhm,
But that's something that I'm trying to teach my kids. Like,
yeah,
hey, fucking learn how to use money and what the value of money.
yeah,
Because when they get money, the first thing is they want to buy like fucking
toys or something.
no V-Bucks, to
What
play
is
on their
that?
video games or
Oh,
whatever. I'm like, you could use
okay,
that for something else
yeah,
much better than just to get their skins or whatever. That's something that they it's like an outfit that they could buy on their
okay.
video games.
Oh, that's funny, because
Yeah, it's just like, dude, come
like
on.
that same money you can use for something else later, right? Like
Exactly. Yeah.
money don't expire.
Yeah. Exactly.
At least not that we know of. I'm not gonna say
Hey,
anything.
we never know.
Yeah, because apparently things be changing. So.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say, when I was growing up, like I didn't really know how to use a debit card or whatever. I kind of learned
Mhm,
myself. So that's something that schools could teach, finances, things like that, or
mhm.
us teach our kids.
Yeah, at least something tangible, because
Exactly.
there is no reason why none of us know this just off rip.
Yeah.
Like, we're in school for 12 years. This is not brought up one time, but
Yeah.
it's something that if you don't do, you will go to jail for. That's a little iffy to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, you missed your taxes one time. The IRS is like, oh yeah, you made this money, but you didn't report that you made this money, so you're going to jail. I didn't know I had to do all that, but you're
Yeah.
supposed to know.
Exactly. Yeah.
The school should do something about that. If we're all going to public school and they force you to go to public school, we should know how to at least do our taxes
Correct. Yeah.
or financial planning. Just know, like, these are main things that you guys need to be aware of. We're not going to go in depth, but you should at least know that this exists. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they will, at least update the educational system, because it seems like it's been the same thing that they've been teaching for the last 200 years.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with your daughter, is she gonna go to school here? Are you trying to like
She's
do?
over there.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
over
cool.
there. She's in school over there full time.
Oh, nice.
I'm trying to figure out when to bring her back, because I do want her to go to like a prom and a homecoming,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want her to be here if they're not going to be teaching what they need to be teaching.
True. Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, you might as well go over there, because, like I said, the education system over there is no joke. Like, when she was here, she said that math was like her worst subject, and now over there, it's her favorite.
No way.
Yeah. So I'm like, what did they teach
Wow.
you? She's like, we're doing long division. And I'm like, okay. I hated that. But she's like, yeah, it's really cool. Well, she didn't say it was cool, but she was like, yeah, I do long division, and we're just, learning how to divide and stuff. I'm like, okay. She's like, but I don't know why we're learning it, because I have a calculator. And I'm like, girl, no. No. She's like, but we can use the calculator. I'm like, mm-mm. No, you have to be able to know what it is before you put it in the calculator. So you still need to know how to do
Yeah.
it.
Of course.
Because
Yeah.
otherwise, She'd be like, "No, I can use my phone." Or I'm like, no, no, you cannot.
Yeah, I mean, teachers used to say, to put our calculators away.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have one on our pockets.
Literally
Yeah.
all the time. I'm like, I wonder how they do their tests and stuff now. Because that's what I wonder. Like, because back when we were coming up, cell phones were not as sophisticated as they are now. So
No,
like,
they weren't.
I think they had like what the basic calculator. Like if you had like a little Nokia or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like, you could literally like, I know they got
You
apps where
just flip
you,
it and then it like expands. So you have more
yeah,
shit to do.
mind you, they have apps and stuff where you can like put the just show the app what the equation is, and it will solve it for you
Dude,
step by
AI
step.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, ooh, they're lucky I didn't go to school in this generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cause the way that things,
Yeah, AI could write an essay for you. It could do a
everything.
lot of things. I use AI for the podcast to like, search for clips.
Oh really?
It adds the captions. So that
Really?
saves me like 2 or 3 hours.
Dang.
I also
Okay.
use AI for the candles.
Mm-hmm.
To like get descriptions or like, build a website or whatever.
Okay.
Super convenient.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And that also saves, I'm sure, because you don't have to, you don't have to think about it. Two, you don't have to hire nobody to do it. You
Yeah.
can literally just be like, no, help me type da 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 da.
Well, I mean, you do pay a subscription, but it's much better than,
Paying like a full time
paying. Yeah.
worker.
I was trying to use I use Wix for my websites.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for Wix to help me build a website, it's like I think $1,500 minimum.
Really?
Yeah. So just use AI. It's much cheaper and it kind of spits whatever your description, whatever you need.
Uh-huh.
It kind of builds it for you, and then you could edit, slightly edit it and stuff. So it saves you a lot of time, and you don't have to pay somebody to do your
Oh,
stuff. Yeah.
I might be, I might be. You need to let me know what that AI is after,
Yeah.
because
I
I
was
might have
very
to implement.
skeptical at the beginning. I just started using it about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
So I don't use it for everything, but like little things here and there, like it saves me like I said, like a couple of hours at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it, especially for the podcast clips and stuff, it'll just look for you.
Yeah. So right now we're recording the podcast. I use what is this program called? Final Cut Pro
Uh-huh.
for to add my intros and my outros,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. I don't edit, like clips or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What I used to do was I had to like watch the whole episode in order for me to search for clips.
Okay.
Now I just add my link to the website,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll just look for clips for you. So you
Okay.
just upload it, and then in about half an hour, it'll let you know, hey, your clips are ready. And then it gives you like 20 or whatever different clips, and
Really?
it tells you which one might be like the best one to go viral and stuff. So it grades it like A. It has the better chance to go viral and stuff.
Oh,
It
really?
adds the captions. It's pretty
We're gonna need that.
it takes a lot of time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
the
'Cause
site.
I'm still doing everything the old school way. It takes me forever to just put out an episode because we're literally like listening back to everything and just
Yeah.
like editing it. That's really cool. Okay. I didn't even know you could do all that with AI.
Yeah, it saves a lot of time and less stress. Yeah, I'll let you know what's the site and stuff. I think
Okay.
I pay. I can't remember. I'll let you know after the
Okay.
podcast. But
Yeah.
it's
Thank
very
you.
convenient. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's pretty cool. Like, I've been hearing about AI for the last, let's say, 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
Like 2021 ish. When like AI was kind of starting to, make its rounds on the internet. And I was like, what is that? But I was like, nah, it's like whatever. I wasn't really looking too much into it. But now I'm like, oh, okay, you
Yeah.
kind of need to get on it.
I was just like that. I was the same mentality. I'm like, nah. I was skeptical,
Yeah.
But it's very convenient and it saves a lot of time. Yeah.
We're going, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to use this.
So let's talk about your podcast. So it's Hood Glow Podcast.
Glowhood.
Glowhood, my bad.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Why did you choose that name? What's
What is Glowhood?
Glowhood? Yeah.
Okay, so back in 2017, that's when I first had the idea to like do a podcast. And originally I was gonna do it with like a group of friends, like Margarita and Noel, and then the two other friends. Eventually it kind of like fizzled out. Everyone kind of like, stepped back and they're like, I don't really want to do it. And I was like, that's fine. But in that time we were like brainstorming names and stuff. We had one name that we were kind of going to run with, but then after a while I was thinking about it, I was like, that name kind of to me doesn't sound great. So I was like, let's think of another one. And then we were brainstorming, and then we were like, okay, what is the podcast going to be about? And I was like, well, it's like about like growing up, or like if you're going through like a metamorphosis and you're eventually going to like blossom into your glow up stage.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, okay, what would go with that? And then like one of the other girls was like, oh, Glowhood. And I was like, you know what? That's actually pretty cool. Glowhood. So then we stuck with that name. And then again, since everybody was like, I'm trying to, like, this seems like a lot. We're going to step back. I was like, okay, cool. But I was like, no, that name is cool. So we got to still like do something with this. So eventually I was like, well, I still want to do something with it. I don't want to let that just die. So I was like, well, shoot, I'll do the podcast. I kind of already had the setup and everything, so I was like, I'll just do it solo, and then later on, I can always bring them on because it doesn't have to just be me. Because I'm somebody who, if I'm doing the podcast, normally it's just like a solo podcast, so I'm kind of talking to myself, and I don't talk like that. Even though I know it seems like I talk a lot right here, but I'm not talking a lot, so I can maybe do like 15, 20 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, I can't really talk too much. So I was like, we'll do that. And then I was thinking of like the theme of how it should go, of, just giving advice to like younger, like if I needed a podcast to listen to when I was growing up, this is what I would say, or this would be the content that I put out.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So that's where the basis of like how everything is started. I do occasional interviews and stuff. Like I do interview other people, and I try to make sure that I get their backstory, but I also want them to like bring out the positivity in whatever they've gone through. So even if they've gone through something terrible, even though it's a bad thing that happened, there's always a silver lining. So just to help people know that don't give up, don't lose faith, don't lose any encouragement. Like don't get discouraged about whatever you're going through, because we all go through shit all the time.
Correct.
So it's just like we're just trying to make sure that like people have enough hope to be like, look, I could just go through one more day, even if it's just that day. Go through that day, and then you can start over again the next day. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now with it. I'm hoping to expand it. But again, since I started it during the pandemic, and then I still had this job where I'm commuting literally 2 hours a day to go back and forth, my consistency was really terrible. Like I could not keep a steady schedule just because I was always tired, or go through bouts of depression and things like that. But now I'm like, nah, I don't even care. We're gonna make sure that this content comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm definitely gonna be way more consistent. I've been posting on all my socials for the most part pretty consistently, at least for this year. And then with content, I have things lined up, but I haven't published them yet. But I've had interviews that I've done like even from 2 years ago that I'm ready to like put out, because I wanted to make sure that everything was good, like make sure that the trademark was done, and make sure like all the business part was together. Because sometimes like you could go viral off of any clip, and if you go viral, if you're not ready, things could just go to the wayside, and I didn't want that to happen, just in case.
So you have it set up as a business.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'm just trying to make sure that everything, granted, I don't make income from it, but I just do have everything like
just be
in
ready
order.
for, okay.
Yeah, just in case anything happens. Like I'm not expecting it to go viral, but I'm not expecting it to go viral. Exactly. I mean, yeah. So I just want to be ready just in case anything happens, and just to make sure that I have my business in order, have all my ducks in a row, make sure that everything is good and solid. So in case anything comes by, then, you can be like, oh yeah, everything's cool. Like this is how we run things. This is how we do it, blah, blah, blah. Because, I did get that business degree. So I'm like, look, I need to put this degree to some type of use. Course. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm doing with it right now.
Yeah. I mean, I see that you are posting daily, and they're motivational quotes, positive quotes, inspiring quotes. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
And I see you like them, so thank you.
Yeah, because they like I said, they are more motivational. They gives you that little push to like keep on going forward
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
Because that's one thing that I wish that, like, when we were in high school, oh my gosh, the turmoil, even though it may have not looked like it, just internally there's always, because being a teenager is rough.
Yeah.
So I was just like, damn. And mind you, we didn't have social media back there, so I'm like, you never know what all these little kids are going through right now with social media the way it is now.
Yeah.
I know some of them can, like, somebody says one thing about them and it could like destroy them.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be like, look, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You got to find it though, but there is a light. Don't give up. Don't give up whatever your hopes and dreams are. Don't give up on life. Make sure that you can keep going, because this too will pass. It may feel like it takes forever, but it does eventually get better. So
True, yeah.
that's why I'm trying to just be like, look, like, if I can be consistent, y'all can be consistent in at least receiving the content.
Yeah.
So that's my goal for at least for this year. And I guess the next couple of months, just be super consistent with everything.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that I was talking to my wife as well. Like this year we wanted to be more active with the candle business, with the podcast, and yeah, like you said, be more consistent.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like for example, myself, like in the previous years, like I dwell on like starting something. I think about it too much. I'm like, dude, like okay, I'll start next week. Whatever the case is.
Procrastinate like
exactly,
me.
and then time goes by, month goes by, a year goes by, and you don't do jack shit. So it's like you just get it done.
Yeah, the sooner, the better.
Yeah,
because I can't tell you, like, from the time that we started the idea to actually posting, that was 3 years from me having the idea to actually putting out content. And I was like, damn, that's a long like, if I had started then, I would have been way further.
Exactly.
So I'm like, okay, let me just stop like getting in my own way, like just freaking post something.
Yeah.
And then eventually posting, I was like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. And the thing that I think that maybe is hindering us as like new content creators is like, we're scared of that social media backlash.
Yeah.
Because how social media is brutal. Like, they don't care.
Yeah.
And the way that we are, especially like we're from like small towns and stuff, we're not exposed to that type of lifestyle. So it's just like, I feel like that might have been a hindrance. But I think now it's like, nah, it's like, you can turn it off.
Yeah.
If somebody has a problem, just turn it off. Be like, you don't have to like my content.
Yeah.
You don't even have to share your opinion on it. You can literally just keep scrolling if you don't like it.
True, yeah.
So that's the mentality that I've now have developed, because beforehand I was always like, oh my God, what if someone says something bad about it, or I'm scared, I don't know, are they gonna like it? I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah,
like, I hope you do, but like, if you don't, that's fine.
Yeah.
So now we're getting to a better spot.
Got it.
Yeah.
So how do the quotes, they're quotes, right? What you post, how do you come up with that? Like are you getting inspired by reading somewhere else?
Yeah. So I follow a lot of different platforms in general, just like either on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, like wherever I see something, I literally would just, take the quote and then I'll post it, because these are all things that I know I personally resonate with. So I'm like, if I resonate with it, I'm sure other people will resonate with it as well. So I'm basically reposting it. And then normally if there's like any like issues with it, which there hasn't been anyway, there hasn't been so far, like I can always correct whatever it is. But as far as I know, everybody does like it, and it does help.
Yeah.
As far as I know. So I'm just trying to make sure that I can echo whatever positivity is out there, because we see so much negative shit on the internet at any given day. And I'm trying to at least combat that with just a little bit of positivity. Like, if I can just put out something positive, even if it doesn't help anybody, it helps me. Because I'm reading it while I'm posting, and I'm reading it while I'm trying to figure out like what would go with it, either the captions or the music and stuff. So I'm trying to just make sure that everything is good, and we can just make sure that like other people see like, look, this is not, you don't have to be on the negative side of the internet, but if you want to be, feel free. But over here, we're going to post positive stuff. So that's my goal, is just to make sure that we can at least carve out a little bit of positivity in this negative world that we're in.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, I love your quotes. They're inspiring and positive.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Moving forward, when once you have your podcast set up, will you have like a set schedule where you would like to upload stuff, or just whenever you can? How would that work for you?
I want to have a set schedule. I want to be able to post at least like 4 times a month if I'm able to get up to that speed.
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 fully fledged produced episodes. So basically, what would that be like in a year? Like 50, at least 50 episodes a year or so. Like I want to get up to that number. I'm definitely not there yet. So right now I'm probably doing maybe like once a month, so maybe 12 episodes in a year. But if I can get up to 50 a year, that would be my goal. But right now, just because of like everything that's going on, I'm trying to just pace myself so I don't burn out,
Mm-hmm.
because that's another thing too that I don't want to have, is like burning out at my job and then burning out with the podcast. I'm trying to just be like even keeled enough so that I can make sure that I can still um produce that work and then also like actually do my podcast.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You said you commute 2 hours to work.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you live? Where do you work?
So I live in Marin and then I commute all the way to Walnut Creek. So that's an hour to and an hour from. And it is definitely a journey because, fighting traffic every morning and every evening, especially going through the maze, is not ideal. It's, it definitely does take a toll on you because, driving in itself is already like stressful. And then you're driving in traffic and then you're driving when everybody's also in traffic. So it's just like, damn, like you got to make sure that you don't hit nobody. You got to make sure nobody hits you. You got to make sure that you're alert enough to be able to like get out the way in case you need to. Make sure you don't get pulled over. There's
sure,
so many things, and I'm like, and then also just making sure that you get there too, because you don't want your car to mess up. You don't want like a tire to freaking blow out, or you don't want like something to happen. So it's just like that stress of commuting every day and then going to work and then having to work and then coming back. That takes so much energy. So I'm just like, I'm just trying to, pace myself because that hour is a long hour.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I'm just, I'm trying to just to make everything work. So hopefully I'll figure out something because I've been doing it for a long time now.
Okay, I was gonna ask if is this a temporary job or
no? This is like a career job. So like,
have you considered moving out there, or you don't like it out there, or
I've been trying to. That's my number one thing I've been trying to. But again, we live in the Bay. You know how expensive it is to be out here. So just the commute is eating into what I would save to move out there. So I'm kind of like stuck, in a way where I'm like, I want to, I basically want to move, but the money that I would save up to be able to move, I'm using it to get there.
Oh, that sucks.
So I'm just like, okay, it's been, it's been a while since I've been trying to like actively move, because when I first started that job, I was like, I can't do this commute too long. And look at me, I've been doing it for 5 years now. So
5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
how much time have you spent commuting? 5 years, 2 hours every day. That's crazy.
I can't even do the math on that, but I have become definitely a more aggressive driver. I can tell you that.
Really?
Like now I'm like, like I don't even care. Like before I used to be very like, oh no, you can get in front of me. Now I'm like, I don't care. Move out the way. Figure it out. Okay. I got somewhere to be.
Yeah. And your career, there's no way you could transfer like closer. There's nothing out here.
Not in that particular company.
Oh,
they have offices out here, but I work in the admin, so their main office is over there. So I'm just like, either I would have to like literally quit and find another job out here, or move over there. There's not really an in between for me right now. So I'm trying to just figure out how to go about that, because it has been a while since I've been doing this commute, and I am getting tired. I cannot tell you. Like there's been times where I've been so burnt out, like just getting to work, I'm like, huh. And then I have to answer the phone, and then there's somebody yelling on the other side of the phone. I'm like, come on, dude. I'm like, I don't have time for this. I just got here.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just figure out how to navigate that. But hopefully something will change soon. So I'm hoping for the best. I'm really just hoping to like figure out what to do next, because like I said, I've been there for 5 years now, and I'm like, okay, that's like a good enough time to have on your resume, whatever. So
Yeah.
like I can start looking around, but at the same time, I do like working there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, I don't know what
You
to
gotta
do.
balance. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So you gotta figure out what to do or the best move for you to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure it out, but eventually, I'm hoping by at least like the summertime, I'll figure out what to do. Like,
Okay.
because it's been a while since I've been thinking about this.
Yeah, that's crazy. 5 years. Oh, I can't imagine. Yeah.
And I've basically lost two cars because the cars could not keep up with the commute too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I had my Honda Pilot. I miss that car so much. That car could not keep up. It broke down on me so much that I was
Really?
spending all the little bit of money I had to fix the car, and I was like, I don't have time for this. I'm getting tired of always spending the little bit of money that I'm supposed to be saving on the car.
Yeah.
And eventually I was like, no. And I ended up like selling it for like $500 or something.
No way.
Yeah. So I was just like, because the transmission had gave out again. So it already went out one
And
time.
that's expensive. The transmissions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went out one time. I paid for it. I was like, if this goes out again, I have to get rid of it. And it started going. I was like, okay, that means it's time to go. Because I'm not paying another $3,000 in a car that's over 10 years old, and then you gotta do all the maintenance. I was like, no, I'm good. So that's the first car that went. That was the first, but that wasn't one of my favorite cars. I will say, I do like riding in a higher car, but it's cool. And then the other cars is just like, it's just been like once I had to use my mom's car for a little bit in the meantime, and then I had another car, and then that car also I couldn't keep up. So I'm just like, yeah, the commute is a little hard for.
It's hard, yeah, because it's a lot of wear and tear. You're in traffic, stopping.
Stop and go. 2,500 hours.
Wow, that's crazy.
That is a full-time job, pretty much.
Commute 5 years is 2,500 hours that you spend commuting.
Damn.
That is crazy.
Those are all hours I don't get paid for, and I will never get back.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Someone's gonna give this year.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, doors open up for you. Something that benefits you more, because, yeah, I mean, commute is crazy. Like all the wear and tear, like we were talking about. Brakes, tires. It just time and money that you have to spend on all that stuff.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh wow.
2,500 hours gone.
Damn. Wow, that just really hit me. I'm not even playing. Damn. Okay.
Could you do the math?
Okay.
How many hours in 1 year? Yeah, so where does your podcast fall into place? Like at nights or like
I do
like
them
when you have to like edit and stuff, because like we talked about, editing takes a long time.
It takes a long time. Yeah. I try to do them on the weekends, so that way I don't have to worry about like getting home and being super tired, because again, I leave early and I get home late. So 87,000 or 8,700 hours in a year. And then out of that time, 2,500 in 5 years is what I'm using.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's nuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get reimbursed for that somehow.
I know, right?
Something's gonna give, because
hey, this podcast is gonna blow up, and that's gonna be your compensation.
all right, for sure. 'Cause, whoa, 2,500 hours.